Okay, this is going to be Beetle casting for the StarCraft 2 Rebirth Web Tournament Series, and it's the blue Protoss Thanatos versus the red Protoss Thanatos, so it is a mirror matchup on Shakuras Plateau, and this is the round of 8 of the third week of the Gold Tournament Series, so both of these players have fought through, I believe it was a round of 32 to get to the quarterfinals of this tournament series, so both of these players are obviously relatively skilled to be getting to this point in the game. I think both of them actually are pretty good, but this is the Gold Tournament Series. And this is going to be played on Shakuras Plateau, which obviously this is a mirror matchup, so neither of these players have an inherent map advantage with this match. But it'll be interesting to see what techs they go for. I do not know that much about Protoss versus Protoss mirror matchups, so I really couldn't tell you what the standard strategy is for a Protoss mirror matchup. So really take any advice or commentary I give in this game with a grain of salt as far as the specifics of a Protoss versus Protoss mirror matchup. We do have a gateway coming down for Thanatos and a gateway coming down for Cammy. At about the same time, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Is it Kami? Kami? I'll call him Kami. Kami. That just sounds better in my opinion. But it is Kami versus Thanatos, and Thanatos is going for another pylon here. No tech buildings as of yet. Thanatos is going to scout out Kami's base. So they have spawned at the diagonal cross positions. Thanatos at the, what do you call this, 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock? 11 o'clock? 10 and a half o'clock? I don't know. But it is cross diagonal positions. And it will be interesting to see what units and everything they go for. As I said, I have not played Protoss. Obviously, I am a Terran player, if any of you didn't know that. So I don't know that much about the Protoss playstyle in general. I expect that to change the more I cast, but at this point, excuse any mistakes in the knowledge that I may make. To be honest with you guys, I actually casted this game already, but silly me, I forgot to hold down the cast key when I started. So I promise not to give away the ending or any secrets whatsoever. I will make this cast as enjoyable for you as it would have been had you seen the last one. So, with that in mind, Thanatos is getting down Cybernetic core and a second gateway. Look for a warp gate. There you go. So warp gate does come out on the Cybernetics core. Thanatos Kami has not gotten warp gate on his Cybernetics core yet, and the reason is these two chrono boosted stalkers. Okay, so Kami may be looking to apply early pressure with some really early stalkers at this point in the game. That would be interesting to see. I don't know how well that will work versus Thanatos. He does have a stalker out, and he is getting a second one. But honestly, I don't know how stalkers respond to, zealots. He has zealots, not stalkers. Kami has stalkers. Thanatos has zealots. But I don't know how well these two zealots will actually respond to Kami's stalker pressure. And if we do see Sentry coming out for Thanatos, so Thanatos backing up, realizing that these zealots aren't the best defensive units, backing them up with a Sentry, and obviously it's force fields. So once that Sentry comes out, I don't expect this pressure to do that much in favor of Kami, but you never know. And note that Thanatos is getting a third gateway out. If we check supply, they're both about the same supply, same workers. Thanatos actually has a few more workers. And there you go, you have a force field come down, and that's going to block off the pressure of Kami. Kami not deciding to continue to attack, but he is backing off, and if we see the reason he's backing off is he's getting a Nexus down. So Kami was just using an early 2-stalker pressure build, which transitions into a Nexus relative fast expansion. It's getting down to actually about a 6-minute mark, so that's not the fastest expansion in the world, but that's pretty fast, especially for gold level play. So good play there from Kami. It'll be interesting to see what he uses this chrono boost for, and he is getting a third gateway down. He has warp gate research coming out of the Cybernetics core, so at this point he'll have 3 gate versus this will be 4 gate. So 3 gate fast expansion for Kami versus 4 gate Robo Bay for Thanatos, and I think he's probably going to get Immortals out of this Robo Facility, Robo Bay. I get those two confused so much. If you see me getting that messed up, just ignore me. Okay, but I think he'll probably get Immortals out of that. Obviously, Observers as well. But Immortals at this point, with their bonus damage versus armored, and note the Stalkers are considered armored. So Immortals with their bonus damage versus armors, I think will be very effective versus a Stalker-heavy army that Kami is probably likely to field at this point. If you notice, he is getting a lot of Stalkers out. So he's got 2 Zealots, 5 Stalkers, another one, so that's 6 Stalkers. He's main-arming his workers over. And Thanatos is pushing out with a Sentry Stalker Zealot ball. He's got a lot of sentries out, so look for some force field play from Thanatos. And what is Thanatos doing in his main base? We can actually check Kami's player cam. He sees Thanatos' warp gate ball coming out. He's chronoing some units out of the warp gate. He's moving. He's responding to Thanatos' push. And Thanatos using Guardian Shield on the sentry to make his units that much more effective, applying some serious early pressure, putting down a force field and then attempt to trap Kami's units on the ramp. Kami is still going to find out his second locate, so these units are not, these units are not going to be able to fire down, but Thanatos still having to withdraw, not being able to do a lot of pressure with that. But you know what? You always want to do as much pressure as you can, even if it's not a lot of pressure. You can't play StarCraft on an entirely different that sentry. Did get picked off there. Weird blue fire coming out of it. I guess sentries are fueled by blue fire. But as I was saying, you always want to be playing aggressive in StarCraft 2. You never want to play defensive. And note that Thanatos is getting a Nexus out. So if you remember from like 3 minutes ago, Kami early pressure into Nexus, Thanatos responding with more pressure into Nexus. So both of these players know what they're doing with pressure into Nexus, and that's really how you want to play with any race. You want to harass the enemy and then expand. But Thanatos is building up a Stalker Sentry or Stalker Zealot ball with some sentries coming out. Look for him to main-ard some workers over to the expansion. And yeah, this is a pretty standard game at this point. I think, I don't know, Immortal coming out for Thanatos, and that Immortal is going to be able to do a lot of damage versus Kami's pretty heavy armored Stalker army. And by heavy armored, I mean a lot of Stalkers, and they are considered armored units, and Immortals are particularly deadly versus their armored units. So I think that Immortal is definitely going to be a heavy backbone in Thanatos' army versus Kami's Stalker army. At this point, if you look at his base, see what else is coming down. A 4th gateway coming down for Kami, so Kami is transitioning into 4-gate Robo, just as Thanatos is. So both of these players have 4-gate Robo at this point, but note that Thanatos did get his Robo out before Kami, so he has 2 Immortals on the field, while Kami has none. And those 2 Immortals, if Thanatos chooses to push down, he is pushing. Those 2 Immortals will really back up this push. This could do a lot of damage. So we'll watch to see what happens. This Stalker probably going to get picked off. And yes, that Stalker did get picked off. So 1 Stalker going down for Kami. Or Zealot. I'm sorry, Zealot. 1 Zealot going down for Kami. You see how bad I am at Protoss versus Protoss? I can't even get the unit names right. That's ridiculous. But regardless, 1 Zealot going down for Kami, and the Thanatos is just pushing into base. Oh wow, a little bit of mismatch between the Stalkers. The Stalkers actually ran out of the army, got killed, and ran out. So a little bit of mismatch between there. But I don't think it's a deadly mismatch at this point. And Immortal does come out for Kami. So both of these armies are remarkably identical at this point. And if you note, there's a proxy pylon here down to the south of Kami's natural, which he is using to get more Stalkers out. 4 Stalkers supporting his army, so rebuilding his Stalker numbers a little bit. And I think at this point we're just going to see a pretty, for the moment, I think it's going to be pretty much just macro from both of these players to see who can build the bigger army first to take out the other guy, because they have pretty much the same armies. Although it is important to note, Kami is getting +1 weapons down at his forge, and if he gets +1 weapons down, he will have that advantage over Thanatos, as Thanatos has yet to get out a forge at this point. And Thanatos is getting 3 more gateways down. If we check to see if Kami has any more production buildings on the way, he is getting a Twilight Council. Interesting. So he's either going to be going for Blink Stalkers or Chargelets. And it could be either one at this point. I think it might be Chargelets, just because when a Protoss player goes for Blink Stalkers, they tend to get a lot more Stalkers than Zealots. And he has equal number of Zealots and Stalkers, and a third Immortal coming out to support him. 3 Immortals for Thanatos, so again, very identical armies at this point. Thanatos, however, does see Kami's army. If we check Kami's player cam, Kami does not know, he doesn't know there's an expansion for Thanatos, although you have to assume that he is, you have to guess that he's assumed that. And he does not see Thanatos' army in front of Kami's base, and that Photon Cannon will go up and take out the Observer. Those Photon Cannons obviously are detectors, so that Photon Cannon did take out the Observer. And Kami getting Observer of his own. So at this point, it's really just a macro game right now. The first person to build up the larger force is going to be able to take out the other guy. And if you notice, there's charge coming out of the Twilight Council. So Kami is getting charge for his Zealots, which will, of course, turn into the Chargelets. And Kami does have the +1 on his round weapons. He's getting out some more sentries. Wow, he's getting a lot of sentries. That is 6 sentries versus Thanatos' 4. So a few more sentries for Kami. If we check the unit tab, Thanatos has more Stalkers, 1 more Immortal, a little bit less sentries, obviously less Zealots. But honestly, I think Thanatos has a slightly larger army at this point, and you can see that from the income tab, the supply tabs. And if we look at this, Thanatos actually has about the same size army. So these armies really are rather identical at this point in the game. So it is going to come down, I think, to micro and unit composition. Will these Chargelets be effective versus this army? I don't know. And there's going to be a battle at this area right here, and the Guardian Shield is going up for both of these players. Hallucinating Colossi coming out. I think Thanatos has guessed that these Colossi are hallucinations. He might have actually seen getting hallucinated, so not afraid of these Colossi moving in. I think that Proxy Pylon really helps because he's able to get out a lot of reinforcements really quickly into the battle, and I think that may have won him this battle actually. More Stalkers coming out. And when you have 4 Stalkers, 5 Stalkers at this point, wow, how many gateways does Thanatos have? He has, what is this, 6 inside his main, 3 out here, so 9. Thanatos is on 9 gateways. He is definitely able to reinforce as fast as Kami is, and it looks like Kami is going to get taken out by Thanatos' army. Thanatos playing very well there, getting out a lot of gateways, macroing up in his army. He's got a robotics bay down, and he's getting out a Colossus, although I don't think that's necessary at this point. But Thanatos, okay, I don't want to be premature and say this has got to be GG, but come on, this has got to be GG. I mean, Thanatos has a huge army sitting outside Kami's base. Kami's just getting things killed left and right. I don't see how this is ending well for Kami at this point. I hate to say it. And his Zealots are getting taken out now. I think this has got to go for Thanatos at this point. Yep, there's the GG. So Kami did GG at that point. And I really want to draw attention to this fact that Thanatos has 9, well, let's see, 3, yep, he has 9 warp gates out at this point. So Thanatos is definitely, I think this is where you see his strengths. I think Thanatos' strength lies with his macro and his ability to get out a lot of units very quickly and to reinforce those units into the battle. So Thanatos did take the first match of this best of 3. Kami obviously will pick the next map. This was on Shakuras Plateau. I do not know yet what map the second game of this match will be. But this is Beetle signing out, and I will see you there.